Hey everyone, Genome here, catch you with the next Marvel Strike Force video. I've been getting some requests actually. Some people seem to like the how to fix videos I've been doing lately. Mostly this is the older legacy characters I've been working with, and because they need the most help. So I figured, why not? I'll do another one. And today's video is going to be on a much maligned character, on a much maligned team. I started thinking maybe I should do the whole team, but let's just keep this short and sweet, and maybe I'll do them all individually. So I'm going to talk today about Mr. Fantastic and what we could do to fix this guy. Mr. Fantastic is awful, and the Fantastic Four is really awful too. Honestly, I don't use him in War anymore. I put him on War D, just you see with the levels. I haven't hit the rank up button on this guy for the 5th Red Star. I got She-Hulk at decent level, and sometimes she gets a defensive win or two. You know, I'm in lower like platinum or whatever, but so I don't use him. I haven't used him in ages, and on the team, Mr. Fantastic may be the worst member, even though he's technically the glue that holds everyone together with the assists and all that. I don't find him so, and he has zero application outside of War, period, and as many members of the Fantastic Four do. But I think Mr. Fantastic is one that might need the most attention, because he is more of a kit-based character than like The Thing and or Human Torch. They require good stats to do their damage. That's the only thing they do well. And, well, their stats aren't good enough to do good damage. But anyway, we'll get into that maybe in other videos. So let's talk about Reed Richards here. The de facto leader of the Fantastic Four, where it's not present in the game, all right? He just doesn't seem like a leader. He's just there. And his kit doesn't make much sense to me. Most of it is workable, and it kind of makes a little bit of sense thematically, but, like, it's just missing some stuff. So let's get into what I would change to try to bring him up to at least more respectable standards. We'll start off with his basic, of course, tensile strength. This is awful. This is an awful, awful basic. Basics, you know, in the last 2 years, every basic has to do something. You need to either leave a negative debuff behind, you need to strip a buff, you need to do something. You need to slow the enemy, you need to turn back a meter, something. And this doesn't do anything. All it does is change other targets, which can be broken, by the way. Counterattack can break it. And he doesn't do any damage. So what's the point? It's not like Wasp's basic. Very similar to that. So it just makes no sense to me. Reed makes the most intelligent human being on the planet, or one of the most. Him and Doom, I always like to spar about that. But he needs to do something else. So my idea was to apply slow to all hit. Just leave it the same it is. You know, it can change other targets, but leave slow behind at the very least. And it has a little something extra. For those of you who know Vision well, his basic has an extra modifier against tech enemies. And I think it makes sense. It leaves behind bleed, I believe, on tech enemies. Well, why can't the same thing work with Reed? But Reed's super intelligent, right? He's a tech guy. He's a gizmo guy. So I would say that every character hit by this ability that's a tech enemy, doesn't have to be good or bad, as long as they're tech, this attack will apply Disrupted as well. Make it a really good one. Dr. Doom has Disrupted on his basic. Makes sense that maybe Reed would too. They're both tech-savvy guys, right? So you still won't be using that much, but it's something. You won't feel awful when he uses this. Now, whether that would apply on assist, that might be too strong, especially if you have Max's T4 and he's assisting constantly. So maybe it would not apply on assist, but I think the slow should. Something needs to happen there. So rather than just do the cookie cutter, hey, I'm going to pull or flip 2 buffs or you whatever, which would be super powerful too. I'm just going to make it, hey, apply slow to all hit and apply Disrupted to all tech enemies. So just a small change, but I think it kind of fits in thematically, and it makes it less awful at the very least. For Special Entangle, which is probably his best move. It's probably not even probably. It is his best move. And it's still not very good. But Special is fine. Just leave it as it is. But knock it down to 3 energy. I mean, come on, man. Like, 6 energy for this thing? It takes once a match. This shouldn't be going up more than once a match. It's not strong enough to justify it being that much energy. And there's no other way on this team for them to get more energy. So yeah, I guess you could run Thanos on there, right? You can throw some energy into him, but even then it would take a lot of energy to get this refilled. So yeah, you can maybe even take 1 energy off of it on start of battle, so he only has 2, and then the next turn or turn 2, excuse me, he can launch this off if people are worried about that being too unbalanced, but it's not really that big a deal. Wasp can stun on her first turn and she's still awful. And lots of other characters can do powerful things on turn 1. I don't think this is too untoward at all. Just make it 3 energy. Yeah. Honestly, I would just leave it preloaded at 3, but whatever. If you want to take 1 energy off, that's up to you. But so I really won't make too much of a change to this because stuns are pretty universally powerful in this game. And for his ultimate makes 0 sense to me. I mean, it is thematic that he would call in like the satellite or whatever, even though that's more like Iron Man's thing. Think like World War Hulk and all, but a whole nother matter, whatever. I think it was actually a Fantastic Four satellite. I can't remember if it was or not. Whatever, I digress. It just does a little bit of damage. What's the point? Once again, he does not do damage. Yes, it clears defense up, so this is usually aimed at a taunt, but it doesn't clear the taunt. So what's the point, man? He's not killing anybody with this move. It's nice that it's only on 3 energy, once again, but it shows you how weak it is if it is on 3 energy to have a 3 energy ult. So I'm going to change this one quite a bit. I want this ult to hit main target and adjacent targets. It's a big blast from a satellite. Honestly, in a better case scenario, it should hit all and just do something special to the main target, but whatever. Here's what I would also do to change that. Not only would it hit adjacent, it would remove 2 ability energy from all targets that were hit by this. That is a massive disruption to game plans out there, and it can really help you swing something. This will make this a devastating move, and it will make Reed Richards like one of the probably the priority target, which he's almost at anyway because of his passive. But it would make him very dangerous, and I think it would just make a lot more sense thematically. And once again, getting back to World War Hulk again, they were sucking the gamma radiation out of the Hulk to try to depower him, right? So, hey, let's pull the energy out of these characters, make it a massive thing. So you need to really either ability block him, blind him. He'd be like Doom level dangerous if that was the case, because he could just totally destroy your plans. I think it would be a great thing. Once again, maybe you don't want to preload this with 3 energy, but I would probably take an energy off of it to start. Leave it at 3 energy, but yeah, at least make him go through 1 round before he launches this off, because this would really destroy you then. But this would make this an actual ultimate. As it is, it's nothing. This is a basic attack now, and it's awful. I don't understand this like straight damage attack basically on a character that does no damage, and it doesn't do anything else. I don't like it. He gains a lot of focus, can't be blocked, big deal. He still does no damage. I would make that change to it. Hits adjacent targets, and any target hit by this loses 2 ability energy. You can even make it 1 to 2 ability energy if you don't want to make it 2 absolutely bonkers, but make this guy a little bonkers, man. He's an important character in Marvel. And his stats are so low, unless they gave him a stat boost anyway, it really wouldn't matter much. You could still nuke him down pretty easily. So, all right. All those like ideas of devastation, let's get on to something else, maybe a little more fitting for a man of science like this guy. So, his passive is actually pretty decent. It's like a mini leadership passive. Think like Graviton or Ghost Rider, adding a ton of focus. He has some stuff with She-Hulk here and Namor. Lots of assists. But really what I want to change is this. It's a Green Goblin-like effect here. On turn, choose 2 random enemies. If they have a positive effect, remove 1. That's pretty good. But it's not potent enough because he's slow. He doesn't get a lot of turns. There's no speed bar manipulation for this team, really. So I say take this on turn or any Fantastic Four ally's turn. Same effect. Choose 2 random enemies. If they have a positive effect, remove 1. And make sure, he does get a pretty good focus buff, so this should probably work, but he probably needs more. As high as resistances are getting nowadays, I'd probably has to be some sort of boost for this and his other teammates, because like characters like Thing, all that have no focus, right? They're gonna miss these all the time, so maybe there needs to be like some more boost of focus modifier. I don't know for this, but I would just make it so almost like Green Goblins, almost exactly like his actually, on any Fantastic Four ally's turn. This passive has a chance of going off and stripping positive effects from 2 characters. I don't think it's too strong. There's so many buffs nowadays that it would take a lot of turns to strip everything away. But once again, it gives you more of a focus of neutralizing other teams. So hopefully he's still alive. Your Human Torch and then Thing can go in there and kind of clean up and hit more vulnerable targets. Because as it is, man, it's just so impossible to get any damage done with this team. They're so slow, and it takes like a whole turn to set up anyway, because your first turn you're using the ult with the Invisible Woman. First turn, you probably just going to special single target with Human Torch. You're probably just going to special or ultimate single target with Thing, and it's going to take for ages for him to come around again. And, Mr. Fantastic is just flailing wildly over there doing whatever he does.
Danger! Danger! My hooks are flailing wildly!
It's usually not too important, so it just takes forever to get these guys going. So they need to find a way to debuff the other team, and they have to find another way to help disrupt the game plan of other teams, because Susan only has so many turns, right? And she has super long cooldowns on her ult, and her special is none too short either. So, yeah, this team needs a lot of help. Mr. Fantastic probably needs it as much as any of them. So those are my ideas for him. Just real quick recap on the basic. I would apply slow to everyone hit with it. It can chain, and it would apply disrupted to all tech enemies. For his special, I would just change it to 3 energy. You can come fully loaded or -1. I just leave it fully loaded, to be honest with you. It's not too strong. Lots of characters have a turn 1 stun. His ult, I would have it hit adjacent targets, and it would remove 2 ability energy from all targets that were hit by this attack. I think it makes a lot of sense thematically and would really, really, really help this team. They need all the help they can get. And for the passive, I wouldn't change a ton, but I would change it to on Mr. Fantastic or any Fantastic Four allies turn that it does the try to remove a buff off 2 targets, basically. So anyway, that's my ideas. Plus he needs a massive stat boost. But okay, let's make him more of a controller. We don't have to worry about stat machines, but he needs like another couple 100,000 health, but whatever. That's a story for basically every older character. So what say you? What do you think about these ideas? How would you change Mr. Fantastic? And do you actually have any use for Fantastic Four in war or outside of it? I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, this is Genome, just thinking about sipping non-alcoholic martinis on top of the old Baxter building.